Today, we are on our series of the Nice Guy Syndrome, and this is a particular point from the Nice Guy Syndrome where learning the art of saying no. Why people have difficulty in saying no. However, it is a necessity many times in these days. You must have noticed that you blurt out yes many times, even without you feeling it. You're just agreeing with people. No, it's just another word. I know it's a confrontational word, but it's a word that you can use to communicate. But then why it is so hard to say it? Why? Because we've been conditioned from our early childhood that we must be polite and say yes to our aunt, uncle, relative, neighbor, teacher. We've been conditioned in this way. If you are a good-mannered person, good-mannered child, you say yes and hi. You don't say no. It's bad-mannered children who say that. And the other thing is that if you are also a yes kind of person, then take a break and think about the reasons why you want to be agreeable. Why do you want to please people around you? To the extent that you yourself feel stressed out after that. For most people, saying no is difficult because they have a fear. See, we have fear of saying no, fear of loss of connection, and connection and love is a need for every person. We fear of rejection. We don't want to lose, we don't want to be rejected, so we always say yes. I know, yes, it hurts. And you appear unkind, you appear angry, but it's okay. You got to say it. This is part of our communication. It's a word. No is a word in the English dictionary. I know it is confrontational, but we have to say it. And look around you. You will realize that's not only yourself in this dilemma. There are your relatives, your friends, your co-workers, many people who are unable to stand up for themselves. You can't tell your boss no because you will be a bad employee, right? You can't tell your wife no because you will be a bad husband. You are not getting everything. Or you can't tell your husband no because he's a boss. So here in this dilemma, we are always refraining from communicating and being authentic to tell the truth to everyone. If you are a yes, if you say yes to everyone, you also become what? A nice guy, a pleaser who's unable to stand up for himself. You will lose your self-worth and self-esteem and self-confidence. Why it is so difficult to say no? Why often we don't say no to others, even when we want to? Here are a few reasons, and it's a stereotyping. When someone asks you a favor and you turn them down, you appear selfish, impolite, and socially incorrect. Saying no can signify weakness in you, that you are a weak person, you cannot do this stuff for them. Okay, you are unmannered person because you don't want anyone to let down and break their expectations. When someone approaches you for a need or for a favor, they are already expecting that you're gonna say yes. because they have learned that you are the one man who can go for everything. You spread yourself too thin. That's why they are expecting that you will say yes. And when you tell them no, they will feel hurt, or you will feel hurt as well. Why you feeling guilty when you're saying it? You don't want to be perceived as someone who's difficult to approach and get along with others. However, the truth is that your interests do not match, and you don't need to put away your principles, your values, your beliefs. When you say no, you need to look up to your beliefs and values. Where are you? Be aware of yourself. At that point, you will know when to say it. Because you are a yes person, and you saying yes comes naturally to you. This is how you've been conditioned at home, at school, our outdated educational system. You cannot tell your teacher no. You got to do your homework. You got to participate in the class. So all these years, 17 or some years at the school and at home 6 years, so that's a good conditioning to become a yes, an agreeable person, as they are doing now with us in the COVID-19 mandatory mask. And now we are becoming conditioned that if you want to get rid of the COVID, you can't say no for the mask. You can't say no for any health, for vaccination. You got to have it. Because everyone else is saying yes, so you can't say no alone. You have to return someone's favor. That's why you can't say no. You need to prove you are worth. That's why you can't say no. Remember, you don't become a bad person when you say no. You don't become an agreeable person if you say yes. But you need to know when and the right time, the right moment to say that. You don't need to violate your values and beliefs. The moment you violate them, then you become weak. Then you become weak, and you cannot really stand up for yourself. You've got to stand up for yourself and to secure your self-respect and self-confidence. Saying no does not necessarily imply that you are rude, unkind, selfish. However, sometimes you need to be that for yourself, to stand up for yourself. These are just temporary beliefs. That's what people believe in that. And the lucky persons who really got and interrupted their conditioning from their childhood, and they start saying no. And they believe in it. Remember, to be authentic, tell the truth, and that will help you. Over time, everyone told you that no is impolite, it's socially not correct. But now, as an adult, you have the choice. You have the choice to say it, and you should have the courage to stand up for yourself and to say no when you don't need to. For example, someone is asking you to go for a movies. Tonight movies is something nice, and you have seen this, you have watched this movie before. What would you do? Would you go just because you're a kind person? You are nice? Would you do that? Of course not. Many people doing it. From inside you don't want to do it. But sometimes you do it just not to lose that connection, that relationship. Because you cherish love. You don't want to be seen selfish or feel guilty for telling her or telling him that I'm not coming. Put yourself first. Put yourself first, and you won't have any difficulty in doing that. And people will love you. How many times you have seen and you noticed, I'm a nice guy, I'm doing everything for them, but still they go to that jerk. Why? Because he's being himself, and you are not. You gain your confidence when you be yourself. Have happened this in your school, right? In your high school, you want to date that lady and that girl, and you couldn't. She goes to that jerk, isn't it? Why? Because he's having confidence and you don't. Gain your confidence when you're being authentic and telling the truth. And almost in all relationships, and in particularly the intimate relationship with your wife, with your husband, it's the same thing. You got to say no. You got to be yourself. You got to tell the truth. And when you tell the truth and you being yourself, I don't want to do this because of this and that, you're being authentic. I don't have time. Or I have to play with my children today. I have to go out with my mother, with my friend, with my brother. I have something to do. You got to say that. Learning the art of saying no is an essential now because of our conditioning, our childhood conditioning, and of feeling that you want to be kind and polite and mannered person. If you are also afraid of saying no due to any of the above mentioned, of what I have mentioned earlier, you got to get rid of that without feeling guilty, without hurting someone, and without sounding awkward. I will give you some tips on that. I learned the hard way, in fact, very hard. I was a yes person, always agreeing. I couldn't say no. And I learned that. I learned to say no, but not the word no. And you can do that. You need to practice it. Sometimes I get invitations. I just decline in a very nice way. I'm honored to receive your invitation, but I can't do it this time because I have a meeting schedule. I tell the truth, I tell what I have. Okay, oh, I wish I could have a clone of me so we could do double work, but I can't. Sadly, this is not the right time. You see, I'm saying no, but not the word no, but I'm saying no to others, okay? Sorry, I'm really busy right now. That's also another no. Damn, I may not be able to fit this into my schedule. That's another no. You see, sometimes it's really hard to say to your neighbor, he wants some time of yours to walk in his backyard. And it's your weekend. You have plans with your family or something. What would you do? Well, I would be very authentic and tell the truth. I'm sorry, this weekend we have plans with the family, we are going out. We are sitting together. We need to plan our next month or next year budget or something. Whatever it is the right thing. You got to say that. You don't need to feel guilty when saying that. You don't need to feel selfish in that moment. It is not. Or you could say, unfortunately, I have another thing in hand. Or you could say, no thanks, but that sounds amazing. Maybe next time. Or sorry, I'm not in for anything else as of now. You see, even sorry, you can not to say it. You don't need to say sometimes sorry because you're being authentic. You are telling him the truth that you can't do that. Just say it. Just say it the way it is. Avoid giving excuses and beating around the bush. Don't stall or delay either, because they might call you or come to you in another time and ask you for the same thing again. You got to be firm on when you're saying no. Being honest and tell the truth and say how it comes to you, no, firm, with confidence, you gain relationships. You don't lose relationships. You strengthen your relationship with people. Because when you say it in a polite way, some people will understand, but many people don't. You got to be really firm when you're saying it. It's not negative, it's not selfishness, it's authenticity. Don't fall into people tactics. Many institutions and even people use some manipulative techniques. Your wife, your husband also use these techniques to manipulate you in some way just to get you agreeable. And many relationships got destroyed because of this system. You see, I will just give you one example about charity organizations. What they do, they come to do, they knock your door and they say, we are doing this for this cause, and people are donating 10, 20, 30, most of the people donating $30. Would I write the same thing? What would you do? You need to say no. Believe it or not, many of the people around me, clients, are saying that their spouses are manipulating them to be agreeable for their own benefits, and they falling in this trap. I have seen families being destroyed because of this. The nagging thing, the selfishness in the relationship, because one of the spouses spread himself too thin and agreeing on everything. No is a cure of your confidence for the nice guy syndrome or for the nice woman syndrome or pleasing. Many families, many women been abused mentally and physically because they can't say no. They spread themselves too thin and they lose their confidence. They lose their self-worth, self-respect. As well, husbands, many of them. I'm seeing that because my focus on fixing relationships from 2 years till now, I have seen many stories. The only problem is that the spouses do not tell the truth and they cannot utter the word no. I will not do this for you, or I will not do that. I'm not available today. We might available tomorrow, or we will let you know when we will be available. The woman and the man, the spouses, in their relationships, it's the most destructive issue in the relationship when one of the spouses is weak and unable to say no. Because in this way, there's no boundaries, there's no limits. One of them couldn't put the boundaries, couldn't put the limit. So the other spouse is just crossing on you, walking up on you, and you lose your confidence, you lose your self-respect. Then you will start looking outside for yourself, for your life, to get comfort. My advice in here is that you need to reevaluate all your values and beliefs. When you set your values, when you set your belief, update all this system, you will know if something is conflicting with your values. Very easy, say no, firm no. If this is contradicting your beliefs, say no, very freely. You will be more respected, you will be more confident, and you will feel more respect to yourself and to the others when you say no. Why? Because you are telling the truth. You are telling what you're feeling inside. How many times you said yes and you felt stress inside? You lived all your life and you are saying no. You are saying yes to everybody. You are saying yes to everyone. And from inside, you are stressed out. You are frustrated. Why that? Why I'm always doing this? As a pressure cooker, you start being as a pressure cooker from inside. You're gonna be exploding. Why you are just torturing yourself? You just say no when you want to. These are my values. These are my beliefs. I won't deviate from them. I've been in a seminar for Tony Robbins, and he said once, you got to have a list of values, tolerance, and which one you're gonna tolerate, which values you're gonna get away from them, and which one you're gonna value the most in your life. And in this one, when you make this list for yourself, and these what I won't tolerate, these I will tolerate, when you know yourself and you are aware of your position, yourself, where are you standing now with the values and beliefs, you know that you don't have time for people. You have responsibility to people. You got to help others. You got to find some time in your busy schedule to help people out who are unfortunate and in need. But you have to satisfy yourself first. You have to satisfy your need first. So it's not selfishness if you put yourself first on your schedule. If you don't have time, you got to say it. I don't have time. Well, the main areas that people requesting help is money and time. And mostly on the time area. If you don't have it, you are busy doing some stuff for yourself. And that's what's supposed to be your schedule, busy all the time, where you are serving yourself, serving your family, serving your children, serving the society. So be yourself and stand up for yourself to gain your respect and confidence and say no. Sometimes it is fine. Believe me, it is fine to be selfish. It's fine to be firm on what you are saying, because that's what you're standing for yourself. people will say whatever they want. You are not, again I'm saying it, you are not responsible of people's feeling, because feeling comes from the meaning of the sentence they have interpreted in their mind. You are responsible of what you put in your mind. You hear a sentence, you interpret it in a way, you put it in your mind, and that's how you got frustrated and hurt. This is something what we need to look into in our future discussions and future topics. I just wanted to say, divorce the story in your mind, your childhood conditioning to be agreeable person and well-mannered person by saying yes to everything. This is not your story anymore. Just leave it behind you, interrupt your pattern, and go forward in your life. It's your choice. It's your choice. It's your choice to decide to be authentic, to tell the truth, and to be honest. I love you guys. This is from my experience. This is from other people's experience. I became a scientist on this, looking for this subject, focusing on this subject, on how to say no. And I came very convinced that saying no is really gaining your self-respect, gaining your self-worth, and gaining confidence in your life by just being yourself, being honest, tell the truth. Those words I'm repeating all the time because it's a habit to say yes and being nice guy. It's not something unlearnable. As you learned it, you can unlearn it. And you can learn how to say no professionally. You don't need, sometimes people are afraid from saying no, the word no. You don't need to say no. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Or you don't need even sometimes to say I'm sorry. I'm busy. I have something to do for myself today. I'm scheduled for something. Be honest, tell the truth. You don't need, after that, when you tell the truth, you don't need to justify why you said no. Because many people, they say no in different ways and they just not being authentic, or they don't tell the truth, then they have to justify why they said it, and no, you know, and start different stories, and they really at that point they lose relationships and they lose their confidence and they will be more at guilt. So you don't need to do that. Thank you. Have a nice day. I hope I added some value to you in your life. Enjoy your night. Love yourself. Be good to yourself. Stand up for yourself. Say no, say yes at the right time and the right moment. Good night.